Happy Panda Toys toy review. My name is Rich.
My name is Ilani.
And I'm Ben.
Today we're going to be reviewing the Visible Dunny by Jason Freeny and Kidrobot. Whenever we review a toy, we kind of look at it in 5 aspects. The concept or idea of the toy, the packaging of the toy, the translation from idea to 3D sculpt, the execution of the factory, and then the value. Is it worth the price tag? So we're going to start off with the concept. So concept here is Jason Freeny actually came out with some artwork back in 2007 where he started doing lots of balloon dog anatomy, gummy bear anatomy, and then he actually did a Dunny anatomy. And yeah, like a decade later, here it is. Cool concept. At this stage of the game, you know, this came out again 10 years ago in terms of his idea. What we've seen produced by Jason Freeny with the anatomy stuff has just been a little bit over the top. I'm going to have to go with the 3. I think it's a pretty good idea. I just wish this came before everything else that he's done, so it'd seem more fresh.
Yeah, I'm with you. At this point of the game, I've got a little bit of Freeny fatigue. There's a lot of Jason Freeny stuff out there. It all starts kind of blending together, and I mean, good for him. You know, he's a great artist. He deserves all the attention and the money that comes with multiple production pieces. But as a consumer, it feels a little wearing after a while. So I like the original concept. I wish it had come out a while ago. So I'm with you, a 3.
All right.
Ben, what you got?
You know what? I think I'm going to give it a 4. Yeah, it is something we've seen a lot repeatedly, especially in recent past year from Jason Freeny with the anatomy stuff. But let's take it as just Dunnies in general, what they've been doing with the 8-inch platform or what they've been doing with Dunnies over the past couple years. And this is kind of something different. This is a different take on it. We have seen skeleton Dunnies either painted on or such as in the 2011 series, we got the Kronk bones where in each blind box you got a piece of it and you put a skeleton.
Dunny.
Yeah, there you go, a Build-A-Dunny. You put your skeleton together. And I thought that was a really neat and fun thing. As far as building a skeleton inside of a Dunny, that's not something that we have seen in Kidrobot. I feel like it's a fresh idea from them, even if it's not exactly a fresh idea from Jason Freeny. And I kind of like to see where it's going. So I'm going to give it a 4.
All right, next up is the packaging. So packaging for this is our standard Kidrobot box. It's cardboard. It's got a PVC tray on the inside. You have the Visible Dunny in sort of this X-ray sheet-like format. Ilani, you want to tell us what you think about it first?
To me, this is underwhelming and kind of boring. I'm all for having the art on the box, but again, boring and underwhelming for me, so I give it a 2.
I'm going to give it a 2 as well. I like the idea of just like the X-ray sheets, you know, because it is the Visible Dunny, and Jason Freeny's line with Mighty Jax is called the X-Ray. So I kind of like the concept of the box, but it just feels very bland. It feels a little unfinished almost. I like the art on the sides and on the top where it's the cutaway letters, but you can't really see the face with the logo in the middle of it. So yeah, for me, I think it could have been a little bit better. It feels a little rushed.
All right, I'm going to give it a 3. You get exactly what you expect with this box. When it comes to 8-inch Dunnies, they're going to give you just the cardboard box, clamshell inside, maybe just a blind bag inside, depending on which one it is, and then you're gonna have some sort of generic artwork on the box itself. Sometimes the artwork fits, sometimes the artwork does not fit. In this one, I feel like when you open it up and you see the piece that you get inside, you're not surprised by what was on the box. So in that case, it represents it well. I feel like it's exactly what I would expect. I'm giving it a 3.
Okay. Category number 3 is the translation. So this is when going from idea to finishing up with the 3D sculpt, you know, prototyping. Where are we at? For me, I have to say this is pretty well done. I really like the look of it. It, you know, in terms of like the skeletalness, I think they could have went crazy over the top with it, with maybe trying to make the head turn or the arms move. You know, but that would have really increased the price. I feel that they tried to keep it in a certain price point, and within that price point, this is really well done. I got to give it a 5. You know, it seems like no corners were cut. They gave it everything they had.
Yeah, I think we were discussing earlier that this Dunny has probably been in the works for multiple years, in which case I feel like it was time well spent. I also give it a 5 in this category. I feel like the sculpt on the inside looks really good. It looks like the artwork. You know, this is a very good translation of the original concept to me. And were we saying who was behind the sculpt?
It's Clem from Big Shot Toy Works did the sculpt.
Yeah, so another consistent showing from him. This is a really well done sculpt here.
All right. I'm going to vary a little bit. I'm going to give it a 4 on this one. I still feel it's very well done. There's some slight things that I would have liked to have seen different. First of all being, anytime we see one of these clear Dunnies, obviously you got to make them out of plastic, and that's okay. We understand. That is how it's going to be done. I don't like the big pegs that go all the way through as a way of sealing and gluing it together. I feel like there's other options, even just making a 2-part and putting a glue in the seam. I feel like it's distracting looking at the piece. And then small things in the sculpt, like I feel like I'm being nitpicky by saying this, but when you look,
that's why you're here.
Exactly,
you're here to nitpick.
When you look at his artwork and stuff, everything is so well defined, and I feel like you look at the skull and it's so well done, and the feet are amazing, the hands are amazing, so well sculpted on this, and with all the detail on everything else, the intestines are well detailed, but where the chest cavity is, the rib cage, the sternum, the lungs, it's just very big and blocky, and there's not a lot of detail there. It draws my eye, and not in a good way. I would have liked to have seen it recessed a little bit more, a little bit tighter sculpt in that area.
How do you know that's not how the inside of a Dunny actually looks like, though?
I just know that that's not what the original art looked like whenever he posted
Yeah, because here's the thing, because Jason Freeny actually made artwork where you could see each individual organ.
Fine.
Also, you know, the original art had a penis on it, which, you know,
that is true.
I don't need a Dunny wiener. It would have been funny to if they put it on there. I understand why they didn't, or maybe even couldn't. So I'm not going to downgrade points on that, but I would have liked
for
to have
lack
seen,
of penis.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen a cleaner chest cavity. And I just, again, 4, still very good marks on it. Sculpt is great. I just would have liked to have seen a little bit something extra.
I like how you brought up the Dunny penis. Completely forgot about that. All right, category 4 is execution. So the execution is factory. You know, it's how well was it cast, assembled, painted. For me, I got to go with a 3. When you look at the front, the skull is really well done. But then when you start turning it and you, again, get kind of nitpicky, if you look on this particular one, if you look in the details of like the feet, it looks like there must have been some sort of dirt, debris, or they didn't clean the parts properly. So there's giant balls of paint in like the little details. There's a ding here where it looks like someone dropped his ass on the floor, and then instead of like cleaning it off, they just kind of entombed him. So now he just has eternal like butt bruise. If there's any scratches or buffs on the plastic when the light hits it, you can kind of see it as a shadow on the skull, kind of giving it sort of like a, you know, like a concussion x-ray like effect on the head. But you know, with Kidrobot, they generally do a pretty good job of production stuff when you compare it to toys across the board. So I got to give it a 3. It's okay.
I agree. To me, it's also a 3 for exactly the same reasons. It's not terrible, so it's not a 2, but the stuff Rich was talking about, you know, the little buffs and hits on the PVC outer shell, that's kind of what you see anyways on Dunnies. It's just kind of par for the course. So it's not amazing, but it's not terrible. You know, the feet are one of my favorite parts about this Dunny. And it's a shame that, you know, over here in the back, it's got that little bit of a blemish situation happening.
But hey, it's in the back, so no one really looks at that.
You know, I gotta agree. It's a 3, and 3 is not bad. 3 just basically means this is what you expect. It wasn't above and beyond or holy crap amazing. It's just, hey, this is what I expected when I opened the box. And yeah, like we said, there's some blemishes on it. There's some areas where the paint isn't super thick on there, and you can kind of see the ghosting of the colors through it. Like we said, the dust and stuff in some of these little areas that got balled up over, the little ding on the butt. Some little tiny paint transfers over each other where some of this pink will bleed onto some of the whites, or the brown will bleed into some of the pink areas. But you have to really look to find those problems. None of them are just blatantly obvious in your face. So it's what I would expect from their quality, and it earned itself a 3.
All right, our last category is the value. MSRP on these in the United States is $75 American. So let's go this way. Ben, what do you think about the value?
All right. You know what? I think that's a good deal. From what we've seen from Kidrobot over the last couple years and their pricing trends, if you were to tell me, hey, we got a new Dunny coming out, and we're gonna have to put another Dunny inside of it, $75 has been their price point for a Dunny that is just paint. We've had the SketchUp and Sketchrochas came out. They were at the $75 price points with this same body type, but there was no original sculpt inside or anything like that. So to add that to it, I wouldn't have been surprised had they told us $100. That's kind of what I was expecting the pricing to come out at. And to say 75, I'm like, that was above and beyond what I thought we were going to get. So I'm going to give it a 4. I think that's a great deal.
I'm going to agree with Ben. I think part of the value of this is, one, the detail to the interior Dunny, and you ignore the clear plastic thing because it's hard PVC, whatever. But I think with Jason Freeney's popularity right now, this could have been one of those scenarios where they could have just said like 125 and people still would have bought it just so that they could say they bought it. I think this is kind of one of those like the modern high I'm insane Dunnies that Huckgy came out with, where it sold out in under 3 minutes. They made like 600 pieces and then it was selling for like $300. I feel like this is a very similar Dunny. If you don't buy it now, you won't see it again, and at $75, people aren't going to really hesitate. I think 4. I think it's a good price.
I agree with everything you guys said. It easily could have been $100 Dunny, considering the way Kidrobot's pricing has been trending when it comes to Dunnies. So at $75, it feels like a good deal.
All right.
I give it a 4.
Give it a 4. Nice. Ben, what are the averages?
All right, so Ilani, you scored this at an average of 3.4. Across the board, Rich, you were actually just square on with Ilani, so again, another 3.4.
Go team.
And I scored this one at a 3.6.
You were a super fan. All right, so would you buy it?
So I feel like this is a really sort of loaded question with this Dunny.
All right, so you stop there. We'll go back to you. Ben, would you buy it?
I feel like this is a really loaded question.
Damn it! Come on! One person make a decision.
No, I know what my decision is, but you didn't let me explain it or lead up to it. You
Please
just
continue.
cut me off.
Continue.
I feel like if you're looking at this Dunny in a vacuum, it's a really super cool fucking Dunny. I mean, it looks fantastic. The concept is really cool in and of itself. But you bring in kind of the surrounding sort of hoopla around Jason Freeny and the amount of Jason Freeny products that have flooded the market recently. And it kind of at least for me personally, it takes away from the awesomeness of it. But like Rich was saying, I feel like this is going to be one of those must-have Dunnies. If you are a serious Dunny collector, even if you're not the biggest fan of Jason Freeney's artwork, it's going to be one of those pieces that you really just kind of need to have in your collection. So taking it purely for what it is, I would say yes, I would buy it.
Over back to you.
All right, well, it's tough. I'm not a huge fan of the Jason Freeny anatomy stuff. I've passed on all of it to the point where when it's like, oh, here's another anatomy piece, I just don't even look at it because it doesn't interest me. It's not that this stuff's not talent. There's not talent involved or it's not good. It's just not something that I'm drawn to for my collection. With this piece, again, I feel like we are looking at something that is a quintessential Dunny. It's so simplistic in the idea and the concept that I feel like it can last the test of time. It's art. It's not necessarily just some artist throwing a character on something, which there's nothing wrong with that either. I've got plenty of character pieces because I collect artists' work. But I feel like this transcends just the work of an artist or just the work of of one concept. This is an art piece on its own, and it transcends even Dunny. If I give up Dunnies in the future, let's hope not, but if I give up Dunnies in the future, I feel like this is a piece that I could keep because it's just really nice in there. And yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with it.
Would you get the regular or the glow in the dark?
Kidrobot's doing their exclusive colorway, and it's going to be glow in the dark.
It's tough. I mean, the regular looks nice. It looks like bones. I mean, it's a great bone color. Glow in the dark is like that radioactive X-ray sort of look, and I feel like that's good too. I guess we'll see when the time comes as which one I end up with. But man, I feel either is a great choice, and if you're going to do an alternative colorway, it's got to be glow in the dark, and this is the perfect time to showcase that.
Honestly, I would have easily passed on this, but they're just so convincing, these two. Well, I guess when you think about it, some of the things you said have really rung true. Of this is sort of a celebration of the Dunny, like when they did the Gold King 8-inch with Tristan Eaton. It's sort of it doesn't need to have very fancy art on it. It's just a celebration of the form that I've been collecting for like 12 years.
Yeah.
So.
In all honesty, though, if it's in my collection, it's in your collection.
Yeah. True story. All right. Well,
where can they buy the Visible Dunny?
The Visible Dunny, I think there's one left, maybe. I don't know. This was filmed slightly before the release. One that may not have been spoken for in terms of pre-orders at happypandatoys.com. Again, $75. Fair price.
Yeah. Go to happypandatoys.com and hopefully we still have it.
Yeah, hopefully he's still here waiting for you. Thank you so much. Have a good night.